Wait. Before you book another salon appointment, I need to show you something. If your hair looks like it belongs in a museum display case, you may have been making the same mistake for years and nobody in your life has been honest enough to tell you. In the next 16 minutes, I'm going to change the way you think about your haircut, your stylist, and the way you see yourself when you catch your reflection in a window. Because today I'm revealing the 6 hairstyles that can make people wonder if you actually had work done, plus the 3 questions that instantly tell you whether your stylist is a granny cutter or a true artist. And near the end, I'm going to walk you through the 3 silent mistakes that age a haircut faster than the calendar ever could. Real quick, if you're new here, this channel is all about the best haircuts for women over 60, helping you look sharper, feel lighter, and stop settling for the same tired cut. So go ahead and tap that like button and hit subscribe now, because once you see this list, you're going to want to be here for the next one too. Let's be honest. A lot of women walk into the salon and say the most dangerous words possible. Just give me something easy. Give me the usual. And that usually leads to the same thing, the granny cut. You know the one. Stiff, round, helmet-shaped. It doesn't move. It doesn't shine. It sits on your head like a decision you made in 1998 and never revisited. And worse, it can age your face faster than almost anything else. Faster than a wrinkle, faster than gray roots, faster than the wrong pair of glasses. Here's why. Your face naturally softens and rounds slightly with age. A round, stiff haircut mirrors that softness instead of cutting against it. There's nothing there to create structure, lift, or a single sharp line for the eye to land on. So the whole face reads as heavier and more tired than it actually is. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. It's rarely your hair's fault, and it's almost never an aging problem at all. It's a shape problem. The exact same head of hair cut with the right structure instead of the wrong one can look 10 years different without a single extra product or procedure. That's not an exaggeration. It's simply how light, line, and shadow work on a human face, and once you understand it, you'll never look at a haircut the same way again. We spend money on skincare, we choose beautiful clothes, we stand a little taller when we find the right blazer or the right lipstick, but then we wear a haircut that says, "I stopped trying a long time ago." And nobody meant for that to happen. It just crept in, one give me the usual appointment at a time. Not anymore. Your hair can change your whole face in 45 minutes, no surgery, no injections, no expensive serums, just the right cut, the right texture, and the right technique in the hands of someone who actually understands aging hair instead of fighting it. So stay with me, because we're counting down from the least dramatic to the most life-changing haircut you could ask for, and I promise by the time we get to number 1, you'll already be picturing yourself in it. Number 6, the textured crop. This is for the woman who wants something short, modern, and elegant without looking severe or overly masculine. Think of it as a refined pixie with more softness and movement built in. The back is tapered neatly to show off the neck and jawline, while the top keeps enough texture to give height and lift right where most of us start to lose volume first. If you've noticed your hair sitting flatter at the crown than it used to, this is often the fix, because short hair with the right internal texture can create the illusion of thickness that longer hair simply can't. And here's the good news. Gray hair actually works beautifully with this cut. Natural silver and white hair often has more texture and grip than color-treated hair, which makes it ideal for a crop that needs a little natural wave or bend to hold its shape. If you've been secretly worried that gray hair limits your options, this is proof that it doesn't. In some ways, it opens doors that color-treated hair can't. This cut also flatters a wider range of face shapes than people expect. If you have a rounder face, ask your stylist to keep more length and volume through the crown to elongate things vertically. If you have a longer or more angular face, a slightly shorter crop with soft fringe pieces around the forehead can soften those lines beautifully. You do not need heavy styling for this. Just a little cream or pomade work between your fingertips, then rake the hair forward and slightly to the side. That's it. No blow dryer marathon, no round brush gymnastics, no fighting your own hair every single morning. For women who want low maintenance without sacrificing style, this is often the answer they didn't know existed. Number 5, soft waves. This one is for the woman who wants movement, softness, and a little romance without going full shag or committing to something too editorial. Soft waves work best on a cut that hits around the collarbone or slightly below. The layers should be subtle, not choppy, so the hair moves naturally without looking overdone or overly done. This is the haircut equivalent of a well-tailored dress. It looks effortless, but there's real structure holding it together underneath. This is especially helpful if your hair is thinning at the crown, which is one of the most common and most rarely discussed changes that happens with age. The layers create lift and dimension without making the hair look damaged, sparse, or overprocessed. A skilled stylist can position those layers specifically around the areas where you've lost density, essentially using the cut itself as a styling tool. Style it with a large barrel, curling iron, a wand, or a round brush if you want more polish for a special occasion. The goal here is not tight, springy curls. The goal is soft, loose waves that frame the face and make the features look lifted rather than pulled down by gravity. Think of the difference between a stiff curl and a relaxed wave washing onto a beach. One looks styled, the other looks alive. A quick tip that most stylists never mention: waves should never start right at the root. Starting your curling iron about 2 inches down from the scalp keeps volume at the crown while still giving you that soft movement everywhere else. It's a small detail, but it's the difference between a haircut that looks salon fresh and one that looks like you tried too hard. Number 4, the modern lob. The modern lob, short for long bob, is one of the easiest ways to look polished without sacrificing length entirely. If you're not ready to go short, but you're tired of your current length doing absolutely nothing for your face, this is the bridge. It typically sits between the chin and the collarbone, and what makes it modern instead of dated is the shape underneath. You want a blunt perimeter with internal weight removed underneath, not visible chunky layers scattered all over the top. That distinction matters more than almost anything else in this haircut, because the wrong version of a lob can look just as flat and lifeless as the granny cut we talked about earlier. That blunt edge helps the hair look fuller and healthier, even if your hair has thinned over the years. It also catches the light better along that clean line, which makes the hair look more hydrated, glossy, and fresh, almost like a filter applied directly to your actual hair. One side can be tucked behind the ear to open up the face and show off a pair of earrings, while the other side sweeps forward for softness and a bit of mystery. That small asymmetry, barely noticeable at first glance, can make a huge difference in how dynamic and current the whole look feels. This cut is also incredibly versatile for styling. Straight and sleek for a polished day, tousled with a texturizing spray for a weekend look, or lightly waved for something in between. Very few haircuts give you that much range while still requiring only one core shape underneath. We're a quarter of the way from the finish line, and honestly, the next 3 cuts on this list are the ones that get the most dramatic before and afters in my comments section every single time I post them. If you want to see more transformations like this every week, subscribing is the easiest way to make sure you don't miss them, and it genuinely helps this channel keep making them. Number 3, the soft shag. If you want movement, texture, and ease without any stiffness at all, this is one of the best cuts on the entire list, and it's having a real moment right now for good reason. A soft shag gives the hair vertical and diagonal lines instead of one static rounded shape. That movement keeps the eye busy as it travels across your face and helps everything look more relaxed, more lifted, and honestly, more youthful. Round shapes tend to emphasize sagging and heaviness. Diagonal, broken up shapes do the opposite. This style works especially well with curtain bangs or a soft bottleneck fringe that opens in the middle and frames both sides of the face. Those bangs can soften the forehead area, camouflage forehead lines if that's something you're conscious of, and draw attention directly toward the eyes and cheekbones, which is exactly where you want the focus to land. Ask your stylist for short to long layering, with shorter pieces concentrated at the crown and gradually longer length moving toward the perimeter. That structure creates real lasting lift without needing teasing, heavy spraying, or damaging heat styling every single day. It's one of the few effortless haircuts that actually lives up to that word. If your stylist cuts the shag in one straight, even line all the way around, that's a mistake and honestly a sign to find someone new. The shape should be carved softly with a razor or point cutting technique, not chopped bluntly with straight across shears. A shag with the wrong technique behind it just becomes a rounder, blunter version of the exact cut we're trying to avoid. Number 2, the modern pixie bob. This is the short haircut for women who still want softness and femininity without fully committing to a traditional pixie. The pixie bob, sometimes called a bixie, gives you the clean, lifted nape of a pixie combined with enough length left in front to frame and soften the face. That balance between short and long, between bold and gentle, is exactly what makes it so flattering on such a wide range of women. The key detail is asymmetry. A long, sweeping fringe angled across the forehead creates a diagonal line, and diagonal lines are always more dynamic and more slimming than perfectly round or straight ones. It's the same principle as the soft shag, just in a shorter, punchier package. Gray hair genuinely loves this cut because its natural texture gives it built-in body and personality that color-treated hair sometimes lacks. You do not need to fight your hair into submission here. You just need a stylist who knows how to shape it correctly and let the natural texture do half the work for you. Styling is refreshingly simple. Use a little styling cream, rake it forward and to the side while the hair is still slightly damp, and let the cut itself do the heavy lifting. This is a wash and go haircut that still reads as intentional and expensive, which is a rare combination. Number 1, the architectural bob. If I could give every single woman over 60 just one haircut for the rest of her life, it would be this one, without hesitation. The architectural bob is sharp, clean, and expensive looking in a way that's almost impossible to fake with any other shape. More importantly, it creates the illusion of lift around the jawline, which is one of the very first areas most of us start to notice softening with age. A blunt horizontal line at the chin or slightly below acts like a visual stop sign for the eye. It gives the entire face structure and makes everything above that line look firmer, more sculpted, and more intentional, almost like a subtle, invisible lift without a single needle involved. The mistake most stylists make with this cut, and it happens constantly, is adding too many visible layers on top in an attempt to add movement. That's exactly how you end up with a round, mushroom-shaped silhouette instead of the sharp architectural line you actually want. Instead, you want a blunt perimeter with internal thinning underneath, invisible from the outside, that removes bulk without ever breaking that clean bottom edge. That technique keeps the bottom edge full, strong, and unbroken while quietly removing excess weight and bulk from underneath and around the sides. It's a completely different approach than traditional layering, and it's the reason this cut looks so much more polished and current than the average bob you'll see walking down the street. Styling could not be simpler. A flat iron for a sleek finish or a blow dry with a slight inward bend under the ends is genuinely enough. Blunt ends reflect light far better than feathered or layered ends, so the hair reads as healthier, glossier, and more alive, even on a low-maintenance day. If that one just made you sit up a little straighter, that's exactly why I make these videos. Subscribe if you want that same confidence boost delivered to you every single week, because this channel exists specifically for moments like that one. We're not done yet, even though the countdown is. What comes next matters just as much as the 6 cuts themselves, because a great haircut in the wrong hands still turns into a bad one. So stick with me for 2 more minutes. Let's talk for a second about color, because the wrong color can undo even the best haircut on this entire list. A lot of women over 60 are told to go lighter and lighter as they age on the theory that it softens everything. But hair that's too light, especially all over light with no depth or dimension underneath, can actually wash out the complexion and flatten the whole face instead of lifting it. What tends to work far better is a technique with some depth left close to the root, gradually lightening toward the mid-lengths and ends. That contrast frames the face the same way a good cut does, and it makes gray or silver hair look intentional and expensive rather than simply grown out. If you already have natural gray or silver you love, resist the urge to fight it with heavy all-over color. A few soft, low-maintenance highlights woven through can add dimension without erasing the very texture and personality that makes gray hair so striking in the first place. Color and cut should be working together toward the same goal, not pulling in 2 different directions. Now, here are the 3 questions that separate the granny cutters from the true artists, and I want you to actually save this part because you can use these questions at your very next appointment. Question 1. How will this cut work with my natural texture if I do not use a round brush every day? A real stylist should be cutting for your real life, your real morning routine, and your real energy level, not for some fantasy 15-minute blowout you're never actually going to do on a Tuesday. If the answer to this question is vague or defensive, that tells you something important. Question 2. Can you show me where you plan to create the lift and how you'll make sure it doesn't look round at the bottom? This tells you almost instantly whether the stylist actually understands shape, balance, and the specific mistakes we've been talking about this entire video. A confident, specific answer is a very good sign. A vague answer about just trimming it up is not. Question 3. How can we keep the ends looking blunt while still keeping the overall shape feeling airy and light instead of heavy? That one single question reveals whether the stylist truly knows how to balance fullness, movement, and softness all at the same time, which is genuinely the hardest technical skill in every single cut we covered today. If these questions just saved you from another bad haircut, do me a quick favor and tap that like button. It genuinely helps more women over 60 find this channel and avoid the same mistake. Before we wrap up, I want to give you 3 bonus mistakes that quietly age a haircut, even a great one, faster than anything else. The first is thinning shears. Avoid them whenever possible. On aging hair, which is often more porous and prone to frizz, thinning shears can create fuzzy, weak-looking ends instead of soft ones. A far better choice is point cutting with straight shears, which adds texture and softness without destroying the integrity of the shape underneath. The second silent mistake is skipping a proper heat protectant before styling. Aging hair typically has a compromised cuticle layer, which means heat damage shows up faster and looks rougher than it would on younger hair. A lightweight heat protectant spray takes 15 seconds and can be the difference between glossy ends and dry, brittle ones 6 months from now. And the third mistake, maybe the most common one of all, is going too long between trims. Even a low-maintenance cut like the ones we covered today needs a shape refresh every 6 to 8 weeks. Blunt lines and architectural shapes especially rely on precision, and precision doesn't last forever. Letting it grow out past that window is often how a great cut slowly turns back into the granny cut. We started this whole video talking about one more small thing worth mentioning. The products sitting in your shower matter almost as much as the cut itself. A lot of women over 60 are still using the same shampoo and conditioner they bought 15 years ago, formulated for hair that had different needs back then. As hair ages, it typically becomes drier and more porous, even if it doesn't feel that way to the touch. A moisture-focused shampoo, a lightweight leave-in conditioner, and a weekly deep treatment can make even a simple cut look noticeably shinier and healthier on camera and in person. You don't need a 12-step routine. You need 2 or 3 products that are actually formulated for the hair you have now, not the hair you had decades ago. Your hair should not be a monument to the past. It should reflect who you are right now today, not who you were 20 years ago, and not some version of low maintenance that actually means given up on. A great haircut changes more than your appearance. It changes how you stand in a room, how you smile in photos, and how you feel in that split second when you catch your own reflection in a shop window and don't immediately look away. You have spent years taking care of everyone else, showing up for everyone else, and putting your own reflection last on the list. Now it is time to stop shrinking, and it can genuinely start with something as simple as one honest conversation with your stylist. So go to the mirror, try the 2-finger rule, look at your bangs, your jawline, and the overall shape framing your face. Then ask yourself one honest question. Does this haircut lift me? Or does it weigh me down? If this spoke to you, subscribe to Stylish 60 Plus right now so you never miss the next transformation guide. Next week, we're covering the 3 hair colors that quietly add 10 years and the ones that take them right back off, so you'll want to be here for that one. And before you go, leave me a comment and tell me which haircut from today's list feels most like you, or tell me the style you'd never let a stylist talk you into again. I read every single one. You deserve to feel beautiful, current, and confident every time you look in the mirror. So, like this video if it helped, subscribe for more of the best haircuts for women over 60, say hello in the comments, and let's keep making this season of life your most stylish one yet.